This is the Player 4 Podcast. Join us each week as we talk about video games, entertainment, and pop culture, and bring in guests from the Rooster Teeth community. Player 4 has entered the game. Hello and welcome to the Player 4 Podcast. I'm your host, Tristan, aka Shagrazir on the Rooster Teeth website.
I am Alex, aka Chaos Black 21.
And I am Malachi, aka Sukikibo.
What are we talking about today, Malachi? I think it started with an R.
Well, I unfortunately was not involved. So Tristan and Alex are gonna tell their tales of their RTX adventure 2019. And then we are going to adventure further with our Dungeons and Dragons again because Joseph is away.
We should call the segment Digressing on D&D.
Digressing on D&D.
Yeah. That's my new title for it.
Because we're going to digress.
Yeah. We always digress. So, RTX happened. Joseph was there. I know we wanted to talk about it when we all were here, but Joseph couldn't make it because he needs to drive to Austin tonight because he's doing an MTG thing. He's got to fly. There's a plane involved. There's some luggage involved. I don't know all the details, but he couldn't be here. But we'll talk about how he showed up on one of the days for RTX and made burgers for everybody, and they were like the best damn burgers I had in a while.
And then he frigged off.
Very good.
And then he left.
Then he played some games.
Yeah, we played a bunch of games.
And then they left.
Yeah. No, it was good. It was fine. It was good. Everybody was happy. We all had a good time. And it was nice to see him and Gina.
So yeah, we're
good
just
to see them.
Keep this relatively short and sweet. Just 2 topics today.
I mean, there's only 2 topics, but they're topics that we tend to talk about
for extended periods, extended amount of time, extensive amounts of time.
Yes. So, yes, RTX happened a couple weeks ago, and Tristan and I were the good old Guardians again.
Good old Guardians.
Yes, Guardians for the 5th time.
5 years guardianing. Like, and then 2 years being an attendee before that. That's a lot of years.
They should make a veteran guardian status. And
I met you in person, Alex, that first year, didn't I?
Yes. Yeah, very first year, 2013, that we both went.
Because you were one of the people in the room when Zach invited everybody over, right?
Yes.
Yes. And then Tony decided he was going to get drunk at the mixer.
Yes, and that's how we bonded, because we chased after him.
We chased him as he's like, I can't walk a straight line, but I can run a straight line.
Yep.
It was dumb.
Yeah, it's just crazy thinking that we've been going to RTX for almost a quarter of our lives.
Yes. I'm like sitting here doing the math. Like 4 times 7 is 28, but I'm 31.
And I'm 30. So that's why I said almost. I didn't say exactly. Will be a quarter of your life.
Oh my God, next year. It'll be exactly a quarter of my life next year.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we still don't have dates yet. Different from what they've done the last few years. Last few years, they would announce it like either like on a sign, like at RTX, or they'd announce it like online almost immediately after. This year, they are holding out on us.
Oh no!
So I mean, we'll see. I hope that doesn't mean dark times ahead for RTX, because they did cancel RTX Sydney and they've canceled RTX London.
I mean, it has been on my mind that is a possibility. Like, ever since Rooster Teeth got acquired, Full Screen, and then Full Screen is a subsidiary of Comcast or something, and then they got bought by Time Warner. It's just like more and more you see the influences from upper and upper and upper management saying this show isn't making enough money, cancel it, do something, put your effort into that other show that's making more money. That's why they canceled the other RTXs, because they were costing too much money and they weren't breaking even on it.
Yeah, so we'll see. We're holding out hope that's going to continue going. If not, we'll have to find something. I mean, people have already begun making the trek down to Austin during RTX without like actually going to RTX. So that we can all just decide, hey, let's meet up and actually, explore Austin rather than be at a convention instead of having a convention for 3 days.
And we could have our own convention. Oh, we can finally have ConCon!
Yes, we have ConCon.
It's much better than LineCon.
Yeah. But let's go back to this year. So this year I was a PA for Josh Flanagan again.
No way.
So this is the second year.
Did you see Mama Flanagan again?
Was not able to make it. So that's very sad. But I took some pictures to show her so that she can relive vicariously through my pictures what RTX was like with me and Josh. Yeah, it was a pretty chill weekend again. Lots of fun.
You seem to only have like one event a day.
Josh had like 2 to 3. Saturday he only had one thing. But we walked around the floor more that day too. The other 2 days he had like 2 or 3 things. Actually, one of the things we did is now one of my all-time favorite memories, which is a little stand that Chris Damaris put up.
Oh.
Court. And like we were recording it. Josh was recording on his phone. Andres had it at one point. And then like all of a sudden, like it was him, Willems from Funhouse, Josh and Chris, and they were doing the pizza thing. All of a sudden, James just runs out into the expo hall carrying pizza, and actually one of those delivery things that the pizza carriers ran out with him. And then Andres and I had to run with them to make sure that like they got through the expo hall okay. Recording this on Josh's phone.
Oh God!
And then Andres just handed me the phone because he couldn't do it anymore. So then I had to follow them with the camera recording. They ran out. They're like, I know a shortcut. And he goes to the store.
He goes to the store.
We had to go through all the zigzagging lines. And then store Chris, who was one of our roommates, who really wasn't our roommate because he didn't really stay with us the whole entire week.
It's okay. I forgive him. I mean, I got to talk to him and Aurelia a lot, so it's all good. We're good. Yeah. She knows that she's my mortal enemy now.
Okay. Well, he saw us running through the lines, and he's like, So then I had to watch and make sure they didn't take anything, which I was pretty sure they weren't, because they were literally just running through trying to deliver a pizza to just a random person in the expo hall floor. The first line, went through the store, ran through the other line to enter the store, all the way across the other side of the expo hall, who didn't know what to do with the pizza after they got it, all the way back.
This is like that time they were drunk and they had a cake. They stole a cake and they tried to trade the cake for donuts. The guy at the donut shop wouldn't take the cake in exchange for donuts. Then they had this cake and they didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I had a lot of fun doing it, and my favorite memories. So yeah, DX was doing crazy stuff with Josh.
My RTX was learning the new role of the tech team now that we didn't have 18 streams to babysit.
Yeah, you had to do a little different than what you've had to do the last few years.
I mean, there are a couple very diligent people who were not ones that I wanted to get in the way of. So I went and hung with a couple of the other techs, and we just sort of ran triage.
So you got to move actually more around and you actually got to like walk around the expo hall since like usually you're stuck in a room to move around and do stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't mind being stuck in a room when, I'm helping to get that room under control. I'm interacting with, people and getting tech stuff set up. I think the most fun tech thing I got to do this weekend was Jack was doing a poker game, and they had this big, complicated table that would detect the cards and everything, and they were keeping that in the tech room. And then we had to bring it over to one of the satellite locations, Hilton, and put it together. And so me and Brandon were wiring that up and arranging stuff for them, getting it all set up on stage.
Well, that's cool. I did not
cool.
even know that was a thing. I knew he was doing poker, but I didn't know there was like this special table for it.
Yeah, no. So like it was so that the audience could see what everybody's cards were. So they had these sensors in the table that without seeing anything, they could detect what card it was if you laid it on the right part of the table. So they could lay their cards face down, and then the audience would be able to see on the screens what the cards were.
Okay, so when you said it had a thing to detect it, so it wasn't like a regular like poker table that you see on TV where they can flash like there's like a camera like.
No, it wasn't a camera like on the edge of the
actually,
table. Yeah. No, it was actually
so there was like
detecting.
something on each card.
I think it's. I didn't examine the cards thoroughly. Like I had to arrange the decks at one point. I didn't examine the cards. I don't think they had anything about them. I think the sensor was just using um, some sort of detection method where it could penetrate and either see the patterns on the cards to see what the shapes and numbers were, or it was some kind of weight thing where it could. I don't know. I'd have to look. Honestly, I'm just speculating because they are not optical sensors. They were these. Well, actually, I guess they could have been optical sensors. Really, all I saw was it was a big, large board substrate. There was a simple circuit on it. It was powered by a single point, and that was like the whole thing. And we just had to pop those into the holes and then route the cables after connecting them. It was I don't know if it was if it was an optical sensor with a particular spectrum that it was looking in that it could see, like through the table material, because the top material was porous, so it's possible it was looking through that. I'm not certain entirely. I'd have to look it up. It's probably some simple technology that everybody's like, yeah, it's like this. And I'm like, I'm just not. I'm an engineer, but I'm not in that industry, so I don't know what methodology they use. And the guy had wired up, like he'd created the boards himself, because it was basically just a brick of G10 with a couple components on it, and there was an IC chip and there were some traces, but like I don't know exactly what the chip was powering, what the gates were doing. Sorry. So, but it was cool, and we got to set that up, and it felt techie.
All right. Well, that's awesome. What about like not when we weren't working? What were we doing, Tristan?
Um, lamenting the fact that we didn't have a Pillow of Solitude?
Yes, we didn't. I mean, we bypassed the Pillow of Solitude. We could have always put a Pillow of Solitude, but we didn't. But like, we did our usual Wednesday. The house group, which Joseph cooked for us. That was the
Yep.
night he cooked for us, and we went to
and
Amy's Ice Cream,
we went
our
to Amy's
annual
Ice
Amy's
Cream.
Ice Cream.
Yep.
And we played our Jackbox, even though it took a little bit of time because the TV originally didn't work.
Oh, that was so frustrating. And then they basically just gave us a TV and had us set it up.
Yeah. And then at one night we watched Into the Spider-Verse.
That was good.
Scene.
I was so happy that we got to watch that. It's such a good film.
Watched the entirety of Ruby Volume 6. Seen the second or the last third to last half, so that was fun. And did Matt even see it before then, or was that the first time he watched it?
Was that the first time Matt had seen Into the Spider-Verse?
No, I'm talking about Ruby Volume 6.
Oh, no, he hadn't. He doesn't. So, like, I think what he does is, whether intentionally or by accident, he just doesn't watch it at all until it's time for us to binge it.
Hmm. So now
I thought
I'm caught
somebody
up on
was
Ruby.
there. I thought somebody was there who hadn't seen Into the Spider-Verse. I thought that's why we were watching
It was
it.
me. I hadn't seen it.
Oh, okay. Did you watch Into the Spider-Verse with us? I'm messing with you.
Yeah. So, and then, like, Sunday for the, like RTX, well, side quest now. It's not, there's no RT or RTX in front of side quest anymore.
It's
so
just side
the
quest
side quests get together.
Oh.
And saw some people, said goodbye to people.
Did they even have, like, the usual guests? Like, I think usually Jeff Williams usually makes an appearance.
I didn't notice anyone. I also didn't go to the top because I didn't have a ticket, so I just was on the bottom because I had my badge.
I see. I wasn't even there. I had to leave at, like, like noonish on Sunday.
Yeah, you missed the Guardian picture.
I missed everything. I'm so upset. I mean, I got to start my cool new job, and that's going pretty okay, but, like, I missed all the good Guardian stuff.
Yeah, I had the bed all to myself the last night.
Oh, was it cold?
Yeah, I had to put a pillow beside me to, like, basically be like you.
Did you put it, like, really close to simulate me?
Yes, it's like you take up the bed. So
Do I? What?
I was kidding. I was kidding. There have been times in the past where you did, but not this year. This year it felt pretty even. And you didn't have your alarm going off constantly either, so that was the other good thing.
Well, I usually had to be up around the same time as you this time.
Yeah, so you just did my alarm, and then you had another alarm set just in case.
Mm-hmm. I don't like waking up. Waking up is hard.
Yeah. I didn't have as hard a time. Good sleep. That was RTX. It was fun.
Got a girlfriend.
Rank it. And last year are actually the two best years in my opinion for me.
Oh yeah. This year the work was weird. It was a good year. It just the work was a little strange for tech team and personalities. But I enjoyed the stuff outside of RTX. I felt like I got to do a bit more of that than I have previous years. I focused on that a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
The games that we played, the people that we saw. I went and saw my friend Anna, and she's doing well. And on the people she lives with.
You went swimming.
I went swimming. I went swimming twice. I wish I'd gone swimming more than twice, but I went swimming twice.
Maybe next year I'll remember to bring my swimsuit. We'll see.
You always forget it. I don't know why.
Because I don't think about, I'm gonna go chill out in the pool.
Dude, I love chilling out in that pool.
I think I'm more or less thinking, okay, where am I gonna go each night?
To the pool.
I want to do other stuff.
Nah, all you need is the pool.
No.
I hung out in that pool the one night until very early in the morning.
Speaking of pools, before in our D&D game that Kubriel went in.
Best segue ever.
Yeah, she got out of it.
Yeah. So yes,
she's no longer there with us anymore.
We're gonna digress with some D&D. We're
Yes.
still playing. We're still in the dungeon. We're streaming now. I intend to continue streaming even after we're out of this dungeon, just because I think it's good to have the record. And I think that other people, whether they watch the stream or watch the video, it can be just fun to listen to, because I've been enjoying listening to some D&D live play podcasts. So, dungeon. You went further in the dungeon. You got out of the pool. You went into the hallway. There was a fight in there with some mummies, and then people started looking at doors.
What happened, Malachi?
No, did Malachi fall asleep?
Yeah, we might have bored him too much.
No, Malachi.
Well, I didn't have an RTX adventure, so...
Well, yeah, that's why we're trying to get you going now. We're talking about D&D here.
Who even plays that anymore?
Soon, not us, once Tristan wipes us out.
I mean, it's a possibility. I hope it doesn't happen.
Well, I don't remember the start, I believe, because something kept me in the very beginning.
Yeah, you were a little late, but you actually originally didn't think you were going to make it.
Yeah.
But you were able to. So I guess I can fill in the beginning.
Yeah, because I'm starting my new job, and I was wrapping up work at my previous employment so that I was leaving on a good note.
Yeah, so what was your earliest memory of the session?
A giant Indiana Jones.
So the boulder.
Yes.
Okay, that essentially was the first major thing that happened. Was the boulder. We went further through the hall.
Boulder feels conflicted about fighting this party of little girls.
We saw some doors. I think there was a door that was behind us, but for some reason we didn't actually go look. And then we triggered a boulder trap, which we didn't see because currently we're in this weird thing that's making us see something that isn't actually real.
We're in a dungeon while under the influence of an illusion, so we can't see the actual physical plane as we're proceeding.
So someone walked over a trigger for a boulder and started rolling towards us. Tim fell, so he got rolled over. First it almost hit Riken, but he was able to dodge it. Kubriel wasn't so lucky, and she got smashed and poofed. I made the joke, Boulder, no poof, please.
But she got poofed anyway.
Yeah. And then Riken attempted to save Leah. Inspiration point, and got her to safety. And then because my inspiration point was gone, I couldn't re-roll my shitty attempt at trying to dodge the boulder again.
But you got her through the door. You saved her.
Yes. The father saved the daughter. and then lost all his HP, so he can't be a tank for the group anymore. And he got revived and then went down later because Malachi, what happened after the boulder?
We done got screwed.
By who?
Well, Mr. Fancy gets the flip out of everywhere. Vendar opened a door and got through a door, which was a great idea at that time, but go to find out wasn't the best situation afterwards.
It's almost like the trap forced your hand.
To be fair, it was a great idea at the time. Even afterwards, it's still a pretty great idea because otherwise it's getting smashed by the boulder.
Well, why didn't you just turn around and punch it? And shatter the boulder with your mighty Riken fists.
I am. Sam the whole time was like, I could wallet force it. I should wallet force it. I'm not going to wallet force it. And then he didn't wallet force it. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, he could have wallet forced it, and freaking Cyrus, Derek was even saying, I could wall of stone as well. Neither of them freaking did
it. They kept talking about all these spells they could use, and then they didn't do it.
No, it harkens back to the time where Riken was like, I could smite this, but I'm not going to.
Save it for later.
Ultimate karma.
Freaking
ultimate karma. And so the boulder, Indiana Jones style, comes rolling down the hall. You all try to dive into this room out of its way, and two of you don't make it. Laramendus the Wizard and Riken the Paladin both got smushed.
3 didn't make it. Don't forget Kubriel.
I didn't count Kubriel. She'll be back.
Well, not for a while. I don't have Fine Steed prepared. I don't have her the rest of the time, unless somehow we still go even further and we make it long enough that we get a long rest again. So yeah, after the boulder, they opened a door to escape the boulder, and there was a mirror side.
I thought I was explaining it. I was trying to flavor it up.
Keep on going. So what happened with the mirror, Malachi?
Well, it made gross copies of us. I was looking at myself, and myself was not happy with myself.
This is true in both directions.
So yeah, the mirrors made copies of us that came out guns blazing and was saying some weird stuff to us as they were attacking us, kind of like, the whole...
It didn't make copies of everyone, right?
Only the people that walked into the room.
It made copies of all but the 2 people who didn't go in the room.
So
except one of them did end up going into the room, but we don't know if he just for some reason wasn't there long enough, or if the spell for the mirrors wore off.
Spooky.
They didn't get into the sphere, so they didn't get the power.
The power. So we had to fight these people, Malachi?
What was that?
We had to fight these people, fight our doppelgangers?
Well, it wasn't so much of a fight as it was arrows of grossness and magic flying all over the place. I think I got to swing at one person.
We get one person.
All I remember, the part of the fight I remember the best is when Mirror Jebel, wild shaped into a scorpion, came out the door, grabbed Cyrus, and then went back in the door, where he basically just held Cyrus up so that Mirror Leah could zap him to death with Witch Bolt. And then regular Jebel, wild shaped into an earth elemental, went in and grabbed Mirror Yukikaze and pulled him out of the room. And then Mirror Yukikaze as they killed him and Ryken.
It's because I'm awesome like that?
This moment. No, it's because you're stupid 21 AC because of the freaking armor I gave you.
Because I'm awesome?
No, his AC would have been 22 because of the two swords.
Ryken. The key word is I'm a follower of Bahamut, and I was destined for that armor.
Destined for that armor. I originally had it. I didn't have to give it to
you. You were the courier. You were the courier to deliver it to me.
Thank you for delivering me this armor. You were destined to be my bitch.
Shipping that armor off to Nalia when we find the
armor. Just because it's hard to hit me doesn't mean I do any damage to strike back. So that means I'm awesome because I still did enough damage to freaking wipe the floor. But anyways,
I mean, Mirror Yukikaze did. What were you doing?
I was going to help, and I knew that we had very powerful magicians in our group that could throw some very nasty things at me, so I wasn't gonna be like walk across the room and get my face blown up before I could even attack them.
I mean, you did get hit though, didn't you?
No? Yes. Yeah, I did when I finally got through the door on the upper area. So
you're decent health then?
Yes. Maybe.
So
no, because I took the full force of an attack. So no, and that's one reason why I was trying to be careful was because magic hurts a lot, and I got my face freaking melted in one hit. I think I'm close to half health, or if not below.
Melted, but 3 people did get their face melted, and they were the mirror people because of Vendar.
Yes.
And the purple word poison.
Yeah, and that's what happened was after we backed out of the room after saving Jebel, because I think you pulled Jebel out and I was gonna pull him out.
I pulled him out, gave him 1 HP. That didn't last very long.
And so then I knew Vendar circled around the corner, so I went to go assist him. By the time I got over there was a puddle of goo. So then I proceeded to pass that Vendar and head up to the other door to try to flank the enemy. And by that time, things were winding down, and I had to move in to fight Leah. And one thing I was gonna say, Tristan, that we could have done, but we can utilize it later, and I'm gonna say it to the party anyways when we get back. Is one thing, if we ever have doppelganger things again, they don't share our mental links. So I can look at someone and say, Leah, if that is you, nod in mental message. So that way I know which is the real person and which is not.
I think you should have said it out loud, and when the mirror Leah nodded.
Oh my god.
I'm like, yep, she's the real one.
Yukikaze is not that dumb. Thank you very much. But yeah, I actually thought of that as we were doing that fight. I thought of that as a really nice solution to figuring out who is who. But I didn't get to utilize it because by that time I already knew who the bad Leah was because I got my face melted off. So I was like, fine, you're gonna freaking shoot stuff at me, I'm gonna go after you. But so we had a big fight. We actually survived. A lot of people are hurt. We're gonna have to figure out what the hell we're gonna do because we are in pretty bad shape.
And we're also split up because Lara Mendes teleported away, and because of the functionality of the illusion from the lair, they got teleported somewhere they didn't expect to go.
Well, we personally don't know that, but out of character to what we were listening to what Tristan said was yes, because of the Lich's field he has around it, redirect.
I never said that.
Oh. Okay.
I said that because of this place. That's all I
Yeah.
said.
Okay. Well, fine. Well, yeah, but we could probably guess it's a lich unless it's defense of the maze, which
I mean,
is a
we can at
possibility.
least figure that it has to do something with the illusion.
Well, yeah, we know that there's some magic in effect that redirects magic or makes it do a different result than what was intended.
Well, that was the mirror.
The mirror. So the mirror was magical. It had exactly two things. Creatures that are reflected in the mirror, they get doppelgangerized and they fight. And then the second effect was that if an area spell overlaps the mirror places a reflection of the spell out where it would be, so that basically you try to position an area spell so that it overlaps where the mirror to cover one part of the room and not another. It makes it so that you can't place the spell beyond the mirror. It will be at full size.
I thought Laramandus teleported while outside of the mirror room. That's why I thought it was the.
No, he ran into the mirror room, grabbed Cyrus, and teleported, because that's what Laramandus always does. Is he Misty Steps to a person who's down and then Dimension Doors out so that he can heal them.
Yeah.
Find a
So
way
he
to get
didn't
them
Misty
healed.
Step this time.
He didn't Misty Step this time because he couldn't Misty Step, because he had to pass into the room to go through the illusory door to be in the same area. You can only teleport to squares you can see, so he couldn't see the square that Cyrus was on. So he ran to Cyrus and then Dimension Doored, and then some property of the area caused his Dimension Door not to take him to the square he wanted to be in.
Yes.
Okay.
And actually, Riken has no clue about this because both Leah did Misty Step in that room, and she went into a different spot than what she was planning on. Lara Mendes did that in the room. Riken never went into the room, so he doesn't know anything about this.
Yeah, the area does not
tell him because he has Misty Step.
I'd be careful with that.
So that was.
He doesn't know.
That was the latest adventure. Do we want to have any wrap-up thoughts? Because we are at 37 minutes, so...
Wrap-up is... Malachi and I need to start making our second characters.
I've actually already been thinking about it, and Tristan and I have been debating, or Tristan's been helping me work on an idea for my next character. I told him what I wanted, and we were discussing ideas.
Well, I was thinking of doing a cleric, but then two other people said, "Hey, I'm going to do a cleric." So now I'm afraid to do a cleric.
I mean, I can tell you this much: a team of clerics is entirely viable and entirely overpowered.
Oh yeah, it's like one goes in and smites things while the other two heal them. I am invincible!
They were even more terrifying in 3.5 edition, where if you were good aligned as a cleric, you didn't have to prepare any healing spells, because you could at will swap out any other prepared spell with any healing spell at the same level or lower.
So you're just like heal.
So you would prepare nothing but attack spells, and then as soon as something hurt you, you'd be like, I guess I don't need one casting of this attack spell. I'll swap that out for a heal spell. So my cleric in 3.5 would go in, grow himself huge, give himself divine favor, which is more damage, and then start wailing on things with his melee weapon.
So to put you at ease, Alex, I was actually debating possibly doing a ranger. We were dabbling at the thought, but we were seeing how the 5th edition, or wait, this is 5th edition, right?
Yeah, but it's multi-class cleric.
Oh well, no, we were debating.
No, I'm kidding.
we were debating on whether it was viable or not, and if there was a good play style for it.
Oh, I am going to start thinking just in case. And I think it'll be interesting because it'll be my first one that I'm actually going to try to build, because last time when I made Tristan help me and we didn't really do any rolls, he was just like, all right, put these numbers in.
Wow.
I try to roll my stuff.
Wow.
I don't know what you mean by roll your stuff, because the only thing you roll on the character sheet is your HP, and that's if you want to.
I don't know. I saw Jen Lozelda, she was doing making characters for one-shot campaign, and
Well-
she was rolling like her stats.
No,
Well,
I don't allow that.
yeah, that was
I don't allow
probably.
that.
It's so one of the options for building a character is to roll your stats. I don't allow that.
Well-
Okay,
We use the
then,
point buy system.
Well, the reason why for that, Alex, is that's probably a more viable thing for a one shot because it's just a one shot.
It's always going to be skewed, overpowered or underpowered. It's just somebody's going to roll all 18s and somebody else is going to roll all 3s.
But that's what makes it fun for a one shot and not for a long term campaign.
I just don't use it at all. It doesn't exist at my table. There's
Well,
no rolling stats
but
at my table.
Tristan, we know your preference, but
Uh,
do you understand the implications of it?
I guess I just wouldn't even allow it in a one shot. It just throws too much imbalance in there between players.
I guess that's just
It's not fun to play in a game where somebody is outshining you in every way. You kind of want everybody to be a little bit balanced and be equally contributing.
What if you roll low stats and then decide to play a character that's like mooching off of someone stronger because they're weak?
I mean, if you wanted to play that, you could. Yeah, whatever. I mean, it's just rolling stats is a way to build a character that I don't use at my table. That my table does not allow.
But
very
anyways,
well.
so yes, that is our D&D regress or digressing.
I had a
D&D
closing thought on
Dungeons
that
and Dragons.
fight, which was I thought the fight was a good show of how strong the party really is, and if you use some more tactics in the way you guys arrange yourself and fight together, you can be a really devastating force.
Unless it's a boulder.
They used all our same stats, just and there was no additives in there.
I literally went off of your character sheets. The only difference was that they had full health.
Mm.
To be fair, Mirror Vendar didn't use purple worm poison arrows, so
Yeah, that would have ended things a little too.
yeah.
That was the handicap we got.
Yeah.
All right.
What I was going to do with Mirror Vendar was have him change to the silence bowstring and then silence all of your casters. But then all the casters ran back in the room, and the only person who was there was somebody who was Lara Menez, who wasn't casting spells. And it's like, well, I guess he'll just try and hit somebody with an arrow. And then I missed with the arrow anyway.
The only person Vendar can't hit, Lara Mendes.
Yeah. Every time. I rolled like a 4 against him while using Sharpshooter.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening. We had a wonderful night, and now it's time to get the flip out of here.
All right. Good night, everybody. Hashtag goodbye.
Bye.
Okay, now I can turn my freaking fan. I'm sweating my nuts off here.
I hope he hit the button first.
I didn't hit the button first. It's still going. But bump.